Shut up and sit down.
CriticalMass here, talking about the power company and things. We talk about things in this. You know what? Just shut up and listen to it. So she wouldn't wake up.
Please stop with these stories.
Why?
Because Cosby was a hero of mine, and I don't want to picture you in the same way.
Listen, she was giving me those eyes.
Folks,
legally binding.
this is disgusting, and we're coming to you live from blank drive.
blank drive. Actually,
No, we're not live. I've learned my lesson.
Blank. We're not live.
No, I've learned my lesson.
Well, I thought because you kept saying how we're live all the time, I actually started to believe you. See, when someone tells me something repeatedly and says it's a fact, I believe them.
You're yelling.
I'm yelling?
You're yelling already. We're not even a minute into this.
Well, I'm just really revved up for today. How about you?
I'm actually ready to go to sleep, but if you want to do this, fine.
Well, I was going to tell you, actually, you look terrible.
I know.
You look absolutely terrible. So what are we talking about today, Dan?
It's because I chopped off my powers.
You chopped off your what?
Well, my beard.
Oh, yes, your beard has been trimmed. You don't look anything like the logo now.
I know. I'll have to grow it. I'll grow it back.
We're going to need to call Adam for another logo.
Yeah.
God damn it. Look what you did.
So...
Welcome to CriticalMass, everyone. It is a beautiful rainy day, and we're here in the studio. And Dan, I asked this before. I'm going to ask you one more time. We're going to edit it later for posterity. What are we doing today? What are we talking about?
Well, it says here on my script that we're going to be talking about communist dictators and socialist scum who think that socialized medicine is a viable alternative.
No. How dare you?
No.
How dare you pay taxes and expect to get anything out of it?
I know, right? It's bad enough with, the fire and police agencies out there.
I know. I'm
and
so sick of
other
it.
forms of infrastructure like, highways.
Awful.
But snowplows, disgusting. Anyways, also we'll be talking about your ridiculous reaction to the Argini issue that happened about a month and a half ago.
If I'm just going to get this straight, you've brought someone in to make me look stupid today.
Yes, absolutely. Her
Okay.
name is Gyyyna.
Gyyyna.
And
Really?
And the other socialist dictator here, he goes by Beans.
Beans.
They are BF and GF.
I have a question. So at this point, we're getting guests that have names of legumes
Yes.
and the second part of a female organ.
Is a bean a legume?
It's a bean is a legume.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'll trust you on that one.
You'll have to.
I'm getting my phone out, but it's not to Wikipedia that. I'm kidding.
You piece of shit. All right. Well, welcome to the show, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Hello.
Oh, they are both here.
They are. Oh my God.
Seriously, they've been sitting there like mannequins for the last 20 minutes while they do a sound check.
Well, I've been holding a gun on them.
Oh.
That's why. So,
Your interview skills are just ridiculous.
It's a hard gun.
That's our interview. So welcome, guys. Welcome. Thank you for being here. And I've already said that.
Clapping. Our first time having two guests on the show.
Two guests. This is, so we're at 5.
2 guests, 1 microphone.
4.
What do you mean?
But I guess it's better than 2 girls, 1 cup, right?
Sounds like the intro.
Why did you
of
have to bring
porno.
that up?
Yeah. 2 guests.
You're
One
welcome.
mic.
2 guests. 1
You're
cup.
welcome.
Yeah.
So why we're here is, I guess we'll go ahead and start it off. We're going to talk about, so Beans, you're a huge, is this correct? And correct me if I'm wrong.
Sure,
You're
please.
a large Bernie supporter. You like
sure.
Bernie.
Absolutely. Who doesn't love Bernie?
Well,
A lot of people.
I mean,
Well,
everyone.
they're just wrong.
Yeah.
Don't know what to tell you.
Their opinion is wrong.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, what makes them wrong? What is the allure? Was it his spread? He didn't max them. What is it that really turned you on to the
That
Burninator?
centerpiece with the white pubes. Oh, it's fantastic. Absolutely.
What an image! But in all seriousness,
No,
why?
sure.
Why Bernie?
He was the first honest politician that I've ever seen. I mean, someone that old who is fighting for the future of the earth that he's not even going to be a part of. It speaks to me when you see all these politicians, all the scandals, the lies. Something refreshingly different, change of pace.
Okay, so he's a politician and not a liar. I didn't know that was a thing. That's like new to me.
No one did until him. He's breaking barriers.
Damn. Do you hear that?
Yeah,
On
it's
the
a little
audio?
chopper. It's
All
okay.
right.
We'll
All
fit,
right.
you know.
Moving forward. Okay, so Dan.
Well, let me just say this. I think the folks out there that might disagree with Bernie, some of the cons, if you will, that he's 190 years old, and he will die soon. Why elect somebody that's going to die?
Great point, Dan.
Second of all, I don't know. Maybe he wants to spend all of our tax money on things we don't think that they should be spent on.
Okay, were those
Fair,
questions or
fair,
statements? Yeah.
fair points from the other side, right?
I mean, well, what's his age difference between him and Trump? I mean, is there a noticeable, a sizable gap?
Well, Trump drinks gold and will live forever.
On top of
I
that,
believe that.
Donald looks better because he doesn't put much thought into anything he says. And because he doesn't have to think so much,
Right.
You know what I mean? He doesn't actually use his brain so often that it's not causing him to age. Whereas Bernie, this idiot, is always using his brain
Over
constantly.
yeah,
It's very frustrating. It's so frustrating.
Look at your levels.
Yeah, I know,
Holy
dude.
shit.
It's all the time. It's this mic. It's very, very sensitive. You touch
Anyways,
the tip. And
what Trump said recently to somebody, I don't know who it was, he said that Australia has the best healthcare
He said it to
system.
the Australian Prime Minister, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken.
He's like,
and-
yeah, you guys got the best one out there.
Yeah, I don't know how we could do
hey,
that. How do we
genius.
achieve
They
that?
have a universal healthcare system. You fucking idiot.
well,
You just said it out loud.
Well, I don't think he knew that. To be fair, to defend him, I think he had no idea what Australia's healthcare system was.
You're probably right. You're probably
based on
right.
past
Yeah.
interviews with Mr. Trump.
well, the question is, if Bernie was to be in power, and would because this is very important to me, would rape still be a pre-existing condition? Because it's important to me that rape is a pre-existing condition because it's their fault that it happened. You know what I mean? They were asking for it, so obviously it shouldn't be
The
covered.
shirt was too tight. Yeah.
Well, rape isn't a condition.
Well,
It's
I mean,
an act.
yes, but if a sexual assault, it's considered. If you've been sexually assaulted, it's going to be much more difficult for you to get insurance now. That's a pre-existing condition
I've
under
seen
the
a
Trump
lot of
plan.
articles about that, and I think a lot of it's misconstrued. It's
Yeah,
a lot of clickbait,
I have
those
to
headlines.
agree.
I saw the same thing. Or, rape's a pre-existing condition, and erectile dysfunction's not. Things like that. I think that's just clickbait. I don't know the details. I know about as much of the details of this new healthcare bill as the Republicans in Congress that
Probably.
voted on it.
You're probably
that
right.
Admitted that they didn't even read it.
Yes.
I love that. That's my favorite thing. Is let's pass a bill that's going to ruin a whole bunch of people's lives, but
What
let's
was the rush?
not read it.
We didn't read it. Well, okay, why did we have to vote on it so
That's
quickly?
what they have aides for. Their aides read it and summarized it to them.
Yeah.
That's all they needed.
That's a good point, Gyyyna. The AIDS. I
Why
can't
don't
say
we,
it
why don't we
without
elect the HIV, the AIDS? Why don't we elect the AIDS then instead of these congressmen? I don't understand.
exactly.
Well, okay, because
Do
here's
your
the thing.
job.
I
Every
like
bill,
HIV as good as the next guy.
just about every bill that comes across the desk of these senators and representatives
Bill Clinton, he came
Okay.
everywhere.
is hundreds of pages sometimes.
Okay.
They're ridiculously long.
Okay.
And these guys have to go drink, they have to go eat, they have to go see their families. They can't sit there and read
Their
every
second
single
families
deal.
or
You
third
can't
family.
Right.
read on the golf course. It
You
just
can't.
Doesn't.
You
work.
can,
You could have
but
your
it's
aide read
kind of
to
rude.
you on the golf course.
It's considered
Faux
rude.
pas.
That's a faux pas.
So
to do work
True.
as a congressman, that's faux pas.
But
Well-
it's not a new thing. Is what my point is that this has been going on for years. I mean, the bills get out of proportion. They're just ridiculous. So that's why they have these aides to kind of go through it and say, okay, these are some highlights to it. This is what basically it means. Now go on with your day. So the Democrats attacking the Republicans for not reading it completely isn't necessarily fair, even though they do the same thing to us. It's just this stupid little weapon that we throw back and forth at
And
each
that's a good
other. It
point.
makes no sense.
That's a good point. And I shouldn't just attack the Republican congressmen. I'm targeted them and said them because obviously they
Even though
voted
they
to
are
pass it.
racist pieces of
Even though they
shit.
didn't
But
read-
that's
I'm not
okay.
going to make assumptions. I don't think all of them are, although some of them seem to vote for it. The job's
Right.
odd. There's a lot of red tape. There's a lot of bribery. There's a lot of corruption, obviously. It's like you
Well,
said, it's nothing new.
Right.
It's nothing new, and
But
it's
not
all
just
politicians.
Republicans.
Right,
It's-
but back to the pre-existing conditions. From what I understand, and there is a long list of pre-existing conditions
C-sections.
that will be covered under the new Trump care. The catch is it gives the companies, the health insurance companies, the right to overcharge you if they wanted to.
Yes.
For any of those
But
conditions.
notice that if you're looking through the conditions, it's almost like being a woman is a pre-existing condition
Right.
that you can be charged more for.
Do you have moisture in your nether regions?
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm a man. I have that. I mean, not even on a hot day.
I think we
it's
all
a
do.
mild day. Yeah.
I mean, it's you say let's not bash all the Republicans, this, that, and the other thing. I will.
I know
will
you will.
I will take that burden on.
Ow.
Because fuck them. I mean, let's be honest. The Conservative Party has been holding our country back since the times of the times. Back those times. I'm pointing that way. Since
Those
back
times.
For
then.
those who can't see, he is pointing to his left.
Exactly.
Behind
Back
his shoulder.
You know what's
there.
funny is that if there were a Republican in the room right now, they go, Abraham Lincoln was a Republican.
Oh, and the party is so much different now.
Right.
Than it was
First
back
of all,
then.
he was a radical Republican. He was not a traditional Republican anyway. So
Correct. He
the
had a
entire
mohawk
party
and a
changed at
earring.
that particular moment.
He was a vampire slayer, if I'm not mistaken.
That's
Yeah,
also a
correct.
I
true
believe I
thing.
saw that
That's a-
documentary.
That's a fact. That's a fact. I saw
Really,
the
really
documentary.
understudied president.
Very much so.
I
Freed
was
the
actually born on
slaves.
Abraham Lincoln's birthday. True story. Swear
Really?
to God, February 12th. Yeah, look it up.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I feel like I am part Abraham Lincoln.
You look part Abraham Lincoln, except for the parts where you don't look like Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah, but just those parts.
Just
those are the
those
only ones
parts.
that don't look
Right.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
those
that makes
parts.
sense. I like it.
So I guess let's get back on track here. So I guess the point of we're here to really discuss is socialism. Everybody hates socialism, but socialism seems to have so many positives, so many things that are here for everyone and for all of us as a populace. Let's all help each other. We're in a community. Once the community starts breaking down, in my eyes, we go into anarchy. What is it with these people that, I guess, pros, cons, socialism?
Well, I got to
What do you
stop
guys-
you. I got to stop you right there. We are not talking about socialism.
Well, socialized medicine is something that we've already
Sure,
brought up like
but
15 times on the show.
socialism-
We're 11 minutes in.
Socialism.
So you tell me
Average of
what the
more than
show's
once a
about.
minute.
Socialism.
Socialism.
When you say that, you're suggesting that the entire government is run under that scheme.
No, I didn't say it is.
Okay,
I'm
but
saying
when-
why are people so against?
But when people argue against it, that's what they mean.
They're okay. So their
So
argument.
I just want to be clear.
I just wanna
that when
get a
we
word
talk.
out
No, you
edgewise.
can't. You can't.
Swear to God, I'm gonna fucking cut you.
This is democratic socialism,
Yeah.
or this is socializing of a particular program.
Okay, that's fine. My question is, why do we say that? Why do we say, let's do socialized medicine, and then people that have about 4 or 5 brain cells that still work say, I don't want to live in a socialized government, which
Well,
in my mind is 2 different things.
Because they're uneducated.
Okay, so they're just stupid.
Yes.
Got it.
Yeah, I mean, we
Simple
live in a
as that. End
culture
of show.
where
12 minutes.
there's catchwords and phrases thrown around constantly, so people just attach themselves to it. Oh, that's what that means. Instead of thinking about it, I'll just go with that word. Okay, socialism.
So what's so bad? What's their fear? I
Well,
guess is what I'm trying
they
to
look at a
explore.
country
What
like
is their
Venezuela.
fear?
Okay,
Go ahead.
They look at a country like Venezuela.
I'm going to drink my coffee. Go ahead.
That is a socialized country. All right, they give free health care to everybody. Everything's taken care of tax wise. But this, I forget the dictator's name, took power and he became an asshole. They had these huge oil reserves. They should have been the richest country when it came to oil, but
Should
they
have been.
fucked up the economy
Yep.
with it, and they stopped putting some sort of tax on it with their oil exports or
Okay.
something like that. And
Okay.
so the entire country went bankrupt. It is devolved completely into a violent, disgusting country where people rape, kill, torture, and steal one another for money.
But it sounds like that's the kind of country Donald Trump wants us to be in.
No, that's the kind of country that he used to get his base riled up against us. Hey,
okay.
don't turn into one of the. Don't even suggest universal health care because you'll end up like that country.
Okay.
So this is where I want to differentiate the two.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
we
gotcha.
are a democratic republic
Got
that
it.
uses capitalism as its main economic source.
That's working out well.
Okay. And sometimes we we pepper in some socialism here and there. For example,
Socialized medicine.
well, we don't use socialized medicine. We use
Socialized hand jobs.
Firefighters, police officers.
firefighters, police
Oh,
officers.
yes.
We use our
Sorry.
tax money for the good, for the
Well,
common
the
good. If you think about it, the
Socialized
biggest,
too. I mean, yeah, you're talking about hand jobs.
Why
over here.
can't we do socialized prostitution?
the
I don't
biggest,
I
understand.
think more Trump supporters would get on board if we did.
See?
not
I'd be
gonna
on
lie.
board.
right? Well, they can't say it out loud, but they definitely would.
Yeah. Especially if
The
they're
biggest socialized program that we have in this country
Yeah.
is what?
biggest socialized
What's the
program?
biggest social program that we use, and all of our tax money goes to the biggest program?
Military.
The military.
Oh, yeah, God, yeah.
It's the biggest socialized military in the world
In the
because
words
all of our
of
tax money goes to
George
it.
Carlin, this country is good at one thing, it's killing fucking brown people.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
we have the budget to do so.
So there's all these programs that already exist that are essentially what we're talking about, socialism.
Yes.
And when you simply suggest single payer, universal health care, Medicare for all, everybody in, nobody out system,
Yep.
it creates a sense of fear in conservatives' mind that their tax money is going to be used to not only help people that they don't think deserve the help, but B, create a larger institution, a bureaucracy that they don't want.
Then that begs the question. I'm gonna pull our guest in because it looks like they're actually leaving. So we should probably ask them something at some point. Thank you, Dan. Though loved everything you said.
Right.
Except for those parts where you were talking. But I loved everything you said.
The space in between is great.
So
I'm just curious, what would it sound like if I punched you in the face on the microphone?
Right,
you want to find out?
2, 1, go now. So beans, beans, beaner. Okay.
It should be bean. I'm single. I'm one person.
So
but
he's
no,
a singular.
Beans.
He's
Bean.
singular.
I represent all the legumes.
Yeah.
So why, let's say Bernie was president, okay? We would get, a lot of things would be socialized, I think, at that point.
I would hope so personally.
Well, two major, the healthcare and the universities, but yeah.
Correct. Which, so I guess my question is, why do my taxes go to some schlub that wants to go to college? Why do my taxes go to the guy on the street to get him medical care? What's in it for me? Why do I give a shit? Fuck them. I mean, why do I care? Make me care.
Well, that's fair. I mean, I can't say that I'm going to make you care. It's an opinion. It's how you are. It's how you're grown up. I personally care. I think that there's pros and cons to all systems, capitalism, socialism, what have you. Just sticking to those two because they seem to be the debate that we're kind of talking about here. Capitalism, there are pros to it, obviously. The better you do, the more you are rewarded. But it also seems to reward the greedy and the corrupt. And that's why we have the whole 1% owns 50% of the wealth in this country not giving back. Socialism, you can make the con that while everyone's contributing, there are going to be people that aren't contributing that are just mooching off of the system. And that's fair. But both systems have their pros and cons. And that's why, as a democratic socialist, or that system, I think that would be the best balance of eliminating corruption and greed, taking care of the environment. We haven't even talked about the EPA yet, but that's something that's very important to me. Civil rights. Those are the things that you can modify, the things you can control, and try to end those corruptions. But with socialism, it's giving back. It's taking care of people who don't have the means to take care of themselves. So sometimes people are going to take advantage of that. That's true, and that's what you're always going to hear. I don't want to pay for this guy who's not working so he can go gamble and drink and do drug whatever. That's going to happen. I'm not going to lie and tell you that no one's going to take advantage of the system. But what about the good you're doing? What about taking care of the single mother who has 2 jobs, raising minimum wage so she can afford to take care of her family? Maybe she didn't grow up with an education. You don't know her upbringing. You don't know what resources she had access to.
Yeah.
It helps those people out who have children. If they continue to stay poor, they're not going to contribute to the future either. Gangs, sometimes in inner cities and elsewhere, it's the only way out. Mm-hmm. It's the only way they have to go somewhere in life.
Agreed.
But if they died, if they were just dead because we didn't help them, wouldn't that help us with the surplus population? And then we could have...
That's true.
Other issues solved if they were just dead. Like,
yeah.
I mean,
I'll answer your question with another question. If all these corrupt, greedy CEOs who are illegally taking advantage of the system and not giving back to anyone, if they were all dead, wouldn't we all benefit as well? That money gets put back in?
Yeah, I guess, but then there's
white?
always somebody else to take their place.
Do we care about their lives?
I mean, are they white? That's really my question.
I think in this country there's this obsession with work ethic, and that you have to attach certain things in our culture to that work ethic. Like if you have the job, therefore you deserve medical care, or therefore you deserve a tax break, et cetera, et cetera. I think that's the problem, because this whole socialized medicine thing started after World War II, I believe. The U.S. Was left intact because we didn't fight anything here on our shores, and over in Europe it was obliterated.
Yeah.
Europe was in rubbles.
Destroyed. Yeah.
And their people said to all their leaders, we demand socialized medicine. We demand universal health care and free tuition to college. We need to educate everybody. We need to take care of one another. And let's start now. They demanded it, and they got it. And look at them. They're doing fine.
We're too big to demand and take over, do anything. I mean, you see these marches in the streets, but especially with our military being so strong, and that's what we put all our money into, and defense of ourselves even. But how are we going to overthrow anyone if enough people, if a majority of this country, if 60% of the people wanted to overthrow the top, would they have any ability to do so, even though the majority?
Let me ask you this question. The proponents of socialized medicine say that it's going to cover everybody and, it's going to cost less. But the people on the other side are saying, no, it's going to cost $20 trillion. What's your response to that?
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that amount that it's going to cost was the same as the amount that we just gave corporations tax breaks to. I believe it was a similar amount, about $20 trillion. I don't know the span of time over that was. Maybe it was the next 4 years.
You mean job creators?
Oh, yeah, right. Trickle down. That worked.
Yeah, we tried that. It didn't work. It was like that was like the time I tried. You try something, it either works or it doesn't. If it works, then you do it again. If it doesn't work, then you stop doing it. For instance, me and using lube. So I wasn't using lube for a while, and it didn't feel as good. Mm-hmm. Started using lube, feels great.
Scabs went away.
Exactly.
Right.
Now I just exclusively use lube. It's a very simple concept that our government can't seem to grasp. I'm using lube and masturbation as a metaphor.
No, I thought you wrote this in a letter to them.
Oh, I might have, but I didn't use my name.
So I brought the $20 trillion thing up because the $20 trillion is actually the number that we currently spend on our own health care. $15 trillion is the amount that Americans put into paying their premiums. And another $5 trillion is what Americans put into paying for their deductibles.
Is it annually?
Yes.
Wow.
$20 trillion.
Just one single American, or this is everyone together, right? Because I don't have that.
Yeah, I only paid $19 trillion last year. I got a coupon. Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah,
that we as Americans put out there.
Yep.
And what Bernie was suggesting, if you cut out.
Hey, what are you suggesting? What is this?
Is that Bernie or Larry David?
We don't know anymore. SNL ruined it.
By switching over to this new system, you would eliminate so much money. You'd actually end up saving. Actually, it was supposed to cost us like maybe this is over a 10-year period. It's supposed to cost us $10 or $11 trillion. But we're going to save because of everything that he would be doing. It would be cutting out all the insurance companies and all this stuff. We'd be saving between $5 and $8 trillion. So by switching over to universal health care, we would then be spending less than we currently are. Okay? Nader broke it down a long time ago because Nader was one of the first proponents of this many, many years ago. And he's been fighting for it still to this day. If you look at the Canadian system...
Is he still alive?
Yes. If you look at the Canadian system, he has a podcast called the Ralph Nader Radio Hour. You should listen to it.
This is Ralph Nader.
Shut the fuck up. Actually learn something.
They've been pretty entertaining.
Seatbelts today.
So he talks about the Canadian system, and they spend 11% of their GDP covering all of their citizens. And yet, here in the U.S., we spend 16% of our GDP to cover not everybody. And the people that are covered aren't necessarily even covered.
Correct.
We're talking about between 40 and 50, before Obamacare, 40 and 50 million people without health care.
What's the percentage we spend on our military? Do you know?
I don't know off the top of my head, but I know it is a lot.
We spend more on our military than, I believe it was number 2. It was 7.
I believe it was the next 7 countries combined.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't really understand why.
I also don't know why we're getting this helicopter noise.
I don't know. We're getting a lot of noises.
Oh, that's my chopper. Here, sorry, guys. It's been fun.
It might be a phone.
I was just saying, are you getting feedback from your phone?
Oh, yep,
Maybe.
there it
Could
is.
be.
There it is.
You with the phone over here, my
Yeah,
bad.
it's cool. It's cool.
Just the military. We spend so much money on it. And I get it. We want to be the biggest. We want to be the most powerful.
We've pissed off a lot of people.
Well, yeah.
We need
now
to
we don't have
protect
a choice.
ourselves.
Oh, exactly, and that's the frustrating part. Why don't we? Like I said this a couple shows ago. What was it that from that Michael Moore film? And I typically don't like Michael Moore, but I like this film. Our paychecks. When we get the taxes taken out, I brought this up already, wouldn't it be great if we had an actual percentage breakdown, like a receipt, as to where our taxes are going? So we could see this amount is going to the military, this amount is going towards this.
Most of your...
Rescue.
Do you want to know where most of your taxes go?
The military.
No.
Where?
Corporate subsidization, isn't it?
No.
Really?
Where?
Taking care of old people.
I'm okay with that.
Social Security.
I'm actually okay with
Social
that.
Security is
personally.
the largest reason we have taxes right now.
Okay, but I'm okay with that because I'm planning on fucking using that when I get older.
Being old, yeah.
We all are.
If it's still there.
Right. We're just handing out paychecks to old people. Here you go, you fucking ingrate.
I
But
know.
they paid into it, so they're just kind of getting it back.
Yeah,
Isn't
just
that
now.
the whole,
And there's this huge fear that because of the amount of baby boomers that are about to really start collecting, and they are starting already, it's going to be such a drain. But, okay, if we get through that, once they die, I can't wait.
Oh, it's gonna be
Once
awesome.
all the
I love
baby
this system
boomers
that
are
makes us hate
dead,
the old.
there's going to be such a surplus. You know, I'm just looking. Not
We'll
only
cut
will
both ways.
not only will their ideals die, but so will their Social Security checks.
Why don't we take all of that money, we build a couple hundred resorts in fucking Boca, and we bring them all down there, and they live a little socialized experiment right there in the resort. They get like breakfast, a lunch, and a dinner.
No, they hate socialism. They would
Activities,
Yeah.
activities. All I know, but you put a little matlock on.
hate that. You call it a resort.
You
Play
put a
Murder,
little
She
matlock
Wrote.
on,
Yeah.
little Murder, She Wrote. They don't fucking remember. I am a suitcase. Yes, you are. They have no idea what's going on. You know what I mean? Just fucking leave them down there.
You
Yeah.
could sell this idea as a reality TV show.
There we go.
Oh, and we're making money off it. There goes the capitalist aspect of it. I like it.
Right.
A little mix of capitalism and socialism.
Welcome to America. America just happened there. I started with an idea. We brought it around to how can we make money from it,
Yeah.
and how can we fuck these people over.
Yeah.
America. God, I'm proud to be an American. Where I can fuck over old people.
One of the Michael Moore films, and maybe you were talking about Sicko.
No, I was talking about Where to Invade Next.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
Well, go see it.
It's a newish one.
It's a newish one.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sicko, I did some research and found out that wasn't, and I didn't include this most recent one, was as far as factual information is as closest as you can come with a Michael Moore film.
Really? Sicko.
Yeah. The rest, I mean, he peppers in some facts here and there, but
Boy,
Alternative
Columbine.
for the most
mean,
part, he just twists things his own way. And
There's
I get
facts
it.
for
I
both
get it why
sides, and if
people
you only
don't
show
want
the
to.
facts on one side,
Yeah,
it's gonna
I
be-
mean, I love his movies, but at the same time, I'm going, is that 100% there?
Doesn't he look
Michael?
awful, though?
Yeah, and that's the
looks
other. They
pile.
attack how he looks. Like, who gives a shit the way he looks?
No, I agree,
looks,
yeah.
He looks awful.
what?
It's hard to look at. Can I get a slender, big-breasted woman to just give me all of his points?
Or
like-
slender, big-breasted man. I mean, why do we got to be sexist about it?
Well, because I'm not.
Into
I'm
man boobs?
Is it about
Well,
the
I'll leave.
boobs
I'll
or
leave then. All right.
the gender?
a little bit of both.
Tits or tits?
A little bit of both. I mean, I like tits.
What about
Who
he,
doesn't?
she?
What about tits on a man?
Tits on a man? Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm not gay. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Right.
Not that there's anything wrong with being gay.
Transgenders have rights now.
Exactly.
You're an
Well, both, come on.
anti-dentite.
All right, well, I'm thinking let's take a break. You
No.
want to power through?
Yeah, I want to sit here for the next 3 hours.
Come on, our advertisers have to get in here at some point.
You're right.
We do. We have to get to some commercials.
All right,
We
fine.
actually have them now, so we should probably use
I was
them.
totally kidding. Is that real?
Yeah, no, go ahead.
All right, cool.
I don't give a shit.
All right, well, God,
Fine.
Jesus Christ, these people are trying to help us,
do you
and
mean,
we're
these
not even
people?
gonna play. We're not even gonna play their commercials.
Oh, right.
So if you're still listening, listen to these commercials, and
Buy their stuff.
I want you to like them.
Yeah.
I want you to enjoy them.
We'll take a break. We'll come back if you feel like it.
And in fact, maybe you shouldn't come back. I don't
Yeah.
know. We'll see you guys soon.
Good fucking bye.
Bye.
The Critical Mass podcast can now be found at the 8o'clockstop.com. That's the 8o'clockstop.com. We're there along with our friends at the Hypothetically Speaking podcast, where they answer hypothetical questions. It's a lot of fun, and you'll also find a whole bunch of other fun multimedia there, from music to art to, well, all kinds of stuff. Check it out real soon. That's the 8o'clockstop.com. And we're back. Thanks a lot for waiting. I believe everyone went and took a poopy and a pee-pee, and I think we're ready to go. We're going to continue on. We've been discussing Bernie Sanders. We've been discussing socialized medicine, socialized, democratic socialized government. A lot of fun stuff, a lot of upbeat material today. But Dan, you said you had a lot to say. Beans, I believe you said you had some more stuff to say. Let's kick it off.
Yeah, I just, we've been trying to play devil's advocate over here, but to tell you the truth, I've been a supporter of universal health care for many years now. No, maybe it could fail. Maybe it won't work. And maybe it could be a little more expensive than what we're used to. But I don't believe any of those things. And even if they were true, I think it's worth a shot. Before Obamacare, there were 40 to 50 million Americans without insurance. And the richest country in the world, I think that's absurd.
Yeah.
Bernie's been a part of it for a long time. I remember there were these videos when Hillary Clinton was still in the race, and she was saying that, where was Bernie when I was trying to pass universal health care? He was standing right behind you,
Literally
you dumb bitch.
behind her.
Right behind you. Which is why I would never vote for her.
Well, this is the thing. Her ass, she can't see anything behind her because her ass is so
Pop a
big.
couple of rearview mirrors on.
And one thing I do want to say about Hillary, I'm gonna throw this out there.
Mm-hmm.
Hillary sucks. She was not a good candidate. I didn't vote for Hillary. I didn't really believe in Hillary.
She won by 3 million votes, though.
But this is my
a
thing.
whole nother conversation.
And I will always say this about Hillary Clinton. Right now, she would have been a better choice than Donald Trump.
Oh, anyone would have been a better choice than Donald Trump.
Well,
that's it.
Maybe Ted Cruz.
We're not changing anybody's mind on that. That's for sure.
No, I'm saying, because people are like, oh my God, Hillary Clinton. It's like, motherfucker, I would have rather had taken that corrupt bitch over a fucking retard with a golf club. Because that's what he is. He's a big orange retard with a golf club. You hear that, Trump supporters? Fuck you and your presidential candidate.
You probably shouldn't use that
but
word
what about
retard. But
I'll use the word retard.
no, you
I'm
won't.
taking it back.
You're taking it
taking it
back?
back.
But you're not one of them.
You tell me I'm one of them all the time, so I just started believing it. Dan.
Okay, so
Fucking
again,
dick. Please continue. I'm sorry for interrupting.
if you look at Sicko, the documentary by Michael Moore,
Sure, yeah.
one of the arguments against universal health care is that doctors won't make as much money. He takes the guy outside. It's like, show me your car. It's a fucking, really, really, really nice car. It's very expensive. He makes a lot of money as a doctor in Canada, this Canadian doctor. What else am I going to say about it? It's just, is it perfect? No. Are there waiting lists sometimes? Sure. Have you ever gone to an emergency room here?
Yeah, I've waited.
Fucking wait and wait and wait and wait.
Have you ever been to an emergency room here?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I think I was there.
Yeah.
That was a fun day.
They kind of rushed me in, though.
Well, yeah, your leg was at a 90-degree angle, and you had drank an entire bottle of Southern Comfort to your face.
Right.
And then you jumped off a roof.
Yes.
Oh, all right.
Well, no, I jumped off the roof after I drank the Southern Comfort, and then I went to the
I
hospital.
assume that was the order of events.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, that was
I just
a fun
didn't want
night.
anybody else out there to think, oh my God, he went to the hospispital, then he jumped off a roof?
Well,
Like,
you-
was it the roof of the hospital?
Well, it
Right
was
after he
fine,
got
though.
back.
It was fine, though, because he bounced off of the windshield of his own car
No.
on the way down.
Derailed.
Okay.
So
Derailed.
you said, look at, there might be waiting lists. Look at the emergency rooms here.
Right.
There's
Nothing's
no perfect system.
Exactly. But if you ask most Canadians how they felt about the healthcare system up there, not only do they like it, they think it should be a right as well. The guy who got it passed, I forget his name, but there was a survey out about 10 years ago about who they thought the greatest Canadian ever was, and they picked that guy. That guy was their favorite.
Well, I mean, my old job, I did a lot of business in Canada. I did a lot of business with Canada.
Mm-hmm.
And I was on a business trip with some Canadians.
Say business again.
Business. So I was on a trip with a bunch of Canadians, and we were discussing healthcare, actually. And this was years ago. This was when Obama was still president. And we were talking about it, and they're like, well, how does that work? So, well, how does what work? I'm like, you go to the doctor, or you give them money, right? He couldn't wrap his head around. He's like, there's a cash register there? And I'm like, well, I mean, yeah. He goes, but money's like the dirtiest thing ever.
True.
And you're handing them like money? And I go, well, yeah, or a credit card or a check. And they're like, but it's a doctor's office. I said, well, what's it like in Canada? He goes, well, I give them my identification card, which is similar to your Social Security card here. And then I go see the doctor. And I'm like, well, what about the waiting and stuff? He goes, well, I make an appointment with my doctor.
Make an appointment, right?
Well, what do you like? So do you have like? He's like, well, no, I choose a doctor, and then I go to the doctor.
Right.
He's like, the only things that aren't covered are dental. That comes out of my paycheck. He goes, and eye care comes out of my paycheck. However, primary care physician or emergency services are completely covered. He goes, I told him with an ambulance ride, if we need an ambulance ride in the U.S., without insurance, it's like $1,000. And he goes, okay, well, what is it with insurance? I said, $500. He goes, wait a minute, so you pay every month
so that you could pay $500.
And then it's only it's $500. It's only 50% off. You still have to pay $500 for the ambulance ride. I said, yeah. I go, well, what's it like in Canada? He goes, well, it's different. If you're in a car accident, something that was out of your control, and an ambulance gets called, completely 100% covered. However, if you are hurt and you decide that you want to call an ambulance to your house, he's like, it's like $50.
Right.
And I was like, is this real? And he goes, well, yeah, I live in Canada, and I've had to do these things before. So yes, this is real. This isn't, Bill O'Reilly. This isn't fucking Fox News or CNN. This is me sitting down drinking with some fucking rowdy Canadians.
Yeah.
We had a great time.
Oh, they're the nicest people.
On the FB,
They're beautiful people.
Tremendous.
And they're women.
on the FB, there was a comment about this whole Canadian thing and how we should adapt it, and somebody said that every day, and I can't even say this without laughing, 3,000 Canadians come across the border to get better health care here.
Oh my God.
I just responded, come on, man. Come on.
That's as stupid as saying Donald Trump is a good president. I mean, it's literally
3,000
You talked
a
about
day.
the waiting.
What
with
are
your
you talking about?
I wait for my primary care physician, too. I make an appointment a month ahead of time. I still have to wait 20, 30 minutes to see him.
Well, I think a lot of times when they talk about wait times, I think a lot of times they refer to, like, you broke your hand and you're going into the emergency room, or you have to have a gallbladder removed. So you have to be on a wait list for months upon months. Whereas here, if you have to have a gallbladder removed, they could schedule you that week and get it taken care of.
But part of that, because I talked to him about that too. I said surgeries. He's like, my grandpa had cancer, and he went and got his cancer treatments. Was there some waiting? Yes. He goes, but these people make it sound like we had to wait like 6, 7, 8 months. No, my grandfather had to wait a few weeks, and then he was, he got his whatever he needed to get. It's like a lot of it is just propaganda to make us look stupid.
Right.
I said, well, yeah, most of it is because most Americans, I'm sorry, but most Americans are stupid and gullible.
Oh, true.
Most of them. They watch the Kardashians and think that that's going to be their life. They sit there and watch TV, and that's all we do anymore. I'm even victim of that. I sit there and I watch Seinfeld on repeat, and that's my life.
That's because you're an idiot.
I'm an idiot. I'm sorry.
Seinfeld's a great show.
Greatest television show ever to grace the screen.
Anti-Semite over here.
The worst.
It's hating on Seinfeld.
Exactly.
Seinfeld.
The worst.
You're so full of
You're
shit.
awful without your beard. I'm just going to say it.
Isn't this opposite day?
High
Dan played a
third grade
love
joke.
Love it.
Not.
But these people, Americans are stupid. Most Americans are stupid. Sure. I mean, not with the present company, people in the room. I know.
That was ironic, wasn't it?
It was ironic.
I'm Nate.
Anyway.
That's Sam Marty.
And that's the thing, we say, oh, well, there's death panels in Canada that decide whether or not they're going to get health care because it's socialized health care.
Right.
And Americans are like, oh, my God.
Well, they talked about death panels here when Obamacare was created.
Yeah, because those happened. They also said Obama was going to take all their guns away.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That worked out.
We say it every time a Democrat's up for election.
Yeah, like who, at what point Was that, you know what? I don't want to get into guns right
I
now.
was going to say that's going to open up a whole can of worms.
That's a whole other thing. Just to end my thought on that, because I brought up guns, was I'm not against guns. I'm just against the people that are like, take all the guns away. And I'm also against the people that are the men that can't reach climax during sex without a gun in their hand.
Right.
Like, oh, you see my gun? I love my gun so much. Let me talk about
It's going to fire. It's going to fire.
Oh, put stickers on my car about my guns. Oh, yeah. Those guys need to take their own guns and put them in their mouth. Those kind of guys. But the people in the middle,
Wow.
I want a gun to protect my family and not like make a big deal about it. Those are Americans. Those are
generalized. I would say that
you talked way too long about that.
All right. I'm
I'd
sorry.
say just about everyone wants to meet in the middle. I think a lot of Americans feel the same way about things, but they don't understand the details on how to achieve it, and that's when you just vote for whoever's got the little R next to you or the little D next to their name.
That's
and
a
they don't
really
think,
good
they
point.
don't do the research. And I think a lot of people feel the same about guns, but they think that Democrats want to take your guns away because of all this propaganda and the NRA. But we all want the same thing. We want guns for anyone who is responsible and should have them. Someone who's not mentally incapable of deciding what to do with a gun. Someone who can actually hand it. We have more restrictions on getting a car and getting a driver's license than we do on getting a gun.
Yeah, and I think actually the biggest problem that I find is that there isn't a universal throughout every state law. It's just every state gets to decide what's what, and therefore, like, okay, you look at, Chicago has the most strict gun rules. Well, that's because the guns are brought in from out of state.
Well, yeah,
what are you talking about?
Well, to bring it back and kind of remove it from guns for now, because that's going to be a whole different.
Yeah,
podcast.
what the fuck?
Yeah,
but going back to,
But if you were shot with a gun and you had universal health care,
no,
exactly.
Balance each other out. I like the balance.
There's something you just said there, Mr. Bean. Something you just said that I love. So you're confused about the facts. So you look at the guy that has a little D or the little R next to his name or her name, and you make a choice, right? Well, this is the thing. We do this with Pepsi and Coke all the time. Mm-hmm. We take a candidate, we remove the little R or the D, and we let them fucking talk. And then they say, oh, well, this one tastes better. And they lift up the little thing. That one's actually a Democrat. Like, oh, my God.
You know what we didn't learn in high school, at least I didn't personally, is what are the Democratic and Republican parties? Like, I used to think they were part of the government. It's not. They're private parties that endorse a
private
candidate.
entities, yeah.
Yes. Why do people have to vote on that? They have money, and obviously money can get you advertising and get your name out there. So it always comes down to a Democrat.
Well, I learned about that in Pig and Economics.
See, we didn't.
You didn't?
Well,
Did you have that program?
That day. No, we did. Yeah, we had participation in government.
That's actually how I learned that there were more than just two.
Yeah.
They
Well,
made us do
that.
some research on other parties, like the
registered for the Green Party,
Constitutionalists and stuff like that. Yeah, I was like, what?
Well, I did learn about other parties, but I assumed that was all part of the government somehow.
Right.
But it's not.
Well, first of all,
private
Pig and
parties.
Economics should not be a one-semester thing.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
As soon as someone enters high school, every single quarter or semester, there should be a class on it in some way, shape, or form.
I was a math major. I love math, but did I need to take calculus over more participation in government classes? No.
No.
I would have learned a lot more from learning more about the government. And
I tried as hard as I could to get out of math.
Yeah.
And I did, things that...
They were like, just solve this problem and you're free. And you couldn't do it.
2 plus 4.
Cosine minus the...
7. Ooh, she's got nice boobs.
Yeah. Well, there really is a
what did you
lack of
ask?
understanding. There really is a lack of understanding about the government. I mean, we sit here like fucking morons. We don't know what the hell we're talking about either.
No, none of this is educated whatsoever.
I
These are
just
opinions.
to close.
To close.
On this whole thing.
On this whole thing.
If the country goes bankrupt, which we all know it won't, and no one gets health care coverage because it got fucked up so bad, but at least we tried, I'd be happy with that.
I would agree.
Can't we at least
try
try?
and not try at all?
Right.
Yeah.
It's something we haven't tried yet. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different result.
Thank you.
And that's the thing, is that we do the trickle-down economics, which Trump is... it was great. It was huge. It was wonderful. No, it wasn't,
Really wasn't.
if you know anything about history. So let's not try that again. Let's try something new.
Yeah,
And
middle class incomes have remained stagnant for the last 40 years. Thanks, Reagan.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Reagan had a lot of issues, and he got Alzheimer's, and I think
30 years. I mean, yeah,
But he still got to choose a Supreme Court justice
right.
Yeah.
while he was slipping into insanity.
Well, Trump's already in insanity. He
Yeah.
hasn't slipped anywhere, and he's done everything to fuck everything up. And if you still support him, I have no words for you any longer.
If you support the Republican or the conservative ideals, which that's a whole other conversation I can argue against why you would want to go against progress, but if you still support Trump and think he's a competent person, I've lost a lot of respect for you. I'm sorry.
Yeah. As soon as you say I'm a Trump supporter or I support the GOP, at this point, you really don't have a lot of credibility anymore.
Yeah,
how a lot of people.
How do you support somebody that when a credentialed reporter says to him, "What did you mean when you said Obama was tapping your phones and stuff? What did you mean by that?" And he said, "I don't want to talk about it."
You tell me. You tell me.
No,
he kept saying that.
you tell me what it meant. No, well, he's like, but I'm asking you. You're the president, and I want to know what you meant by that because there seems to be no factual
Kellyanne
basis.
Conway.
And then he goes and he sits down at his desk. He's like, "Nah, I don't want to talk about it." And then he plays with something on his desk like a child.
Yeah.
He is
very
a child.
awkward.
Kellyanne Conway will rot now. But
Oh
she
my God,
ran
yeah.
an act. It was awful. It was morally just terrible, but it was a great campaign. If you're just talking about the end goal of getting someone elected, it was a genius campaign. The way she deflected and still does, just deflects these things where you're just like, obviously, no, Trump said climate change or doesn't exist. No,
it was
he didn't
created
say
by
that.
the Chinese.
Oh no,
he didn't say that.
That's not true.
Yeah.
It's alternative. No, yeah, when Sean Spicer came out and said angrily, like defensively, no, there were more people at Obama or at Trump's inauguration than
Right.
Obama's. And then he's, those are just alternative facts, and she won't answer yes or no about.
Right.
No, wait, this is just a fact. This is numbers. One
think
number
that-
is larger than another.
Yeah, that's my biggest problem with them is that they can't just say, "Hey, we were wrong."
Right.
Just say
But
it.
it's genius. I mean, I will say it's wrong, but man, they did it right. And like Michelle Obama, when campaigning for Hillary, said, "When they go low, we go high." I mean, that's exactly what we continue to do, but it's not going to get anyone elected.
No, it's not because you got to play dirty in order to win.
Exactly.
That's
Politics
just
is a dirty
point.
game, and the left is going to continue to play clean and get the floor mopped because the other side doesn't have any morals.
I mean, both sides don't. I want this. I want a candidate one day that's going to come up in front of the podium, in front of all the people, and this guy will get my vote. And he's going to say, he or she is going to say these things. I've done crack. I've been to jail. I sold drugs. I've seen prostitutes, both male and female. I'm going to be honest with you about these things now. I was able to overcome my issues, and now I want to help the American people. So instead of poking holes in the things that I've done in my past, why don't we discuss what it is we can do for the future of this country?
Well said.
And I would vote for that person immediately because that person now represents the larger subset of our country. Those that have...
They're a real person.
Yes, someone who has made mistakes and didn't try to cover them up. Mm-hmm. Just, here's my mistakes.
Doesn't lie about them, sure.
Didn't lie, didn't cheat, didn't steal. Came from maybe a lower socioeconomic area. They get what's actually going on. And then they don't want to focus on the other candidate, and the candidate got caught with the 15-year-old boy in a hotel room. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, he's upfront with all of it, and then he just does what he needs to do for the country.
I thought that a long
Isn't
time.
that kind of Bernie Sanders?
He doesn't have as much to hide, but yeah, I would agree. I mean...
Yeah. I mean, yeah, but did he come from a lower socioeconomic background?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Where
He
did he
was
come?
super poor. He was an immigrant from Poland, if I'm not mistaken.
He is an immigrant? Or
No,
his
I think
dad was.
His dad.
But he grew up in Brooklyn with very low income. I think they shared their apartment with two other families or something. He's very poor.
Damn.
He grew up.
He came from a very poor background.
Damn. Well, I
humble
think,
beginnings for sure.
Without getting on Bernie's nuts, I mean, the man fought for civil rights. He fought for gay rights decades before that was
Cool.
normal and cool. Like Hillary did it 10 years after when she realized that would help her get elected.
Right.
Bernie did it when it wasn't cool. He did it for the right reasons. He didn't do those things for political reasons. He was marching with MLK, you know.
Definitely. I mean, I think that with Bernie, one of the things that is his downside is that he's so white and so Jewish sounding.
So
No, you're right.
Like, hey, I think we had Obama, and he was black, but I don't think he was black enough. I think we need a blacker president.
Yeah.
I think we need, like, Jay-Z to run.
Well,
Kanye 2020.
Oh, God. Well,
to be honest with you,
Kanye's like Trump. He's just, he's a crazy person. Jay-Z, he's an accomplished businessman.
You get the Beyonce supporters, too.
You got Beyonce.
I think
can you imagine Beyonce being the first lady? God damn.
Real talk. What's your dream ticket for 2020?
you mean
President, Vice President combo. I'll go first to ask the question. I really like Elizabeth Warren. I'd like to see Warren and Sanders. Being a little too white, that's fair if we're sticking to that. But
I think that those two have the best possibility for winning. And I used to really like Warren, but I think she's, from what I've seen, it looks like she kind of flip-flops a lot on some stuff. And she seems to me more like a political insider on the Democratic side.
I think she's come around a lot to what Bernie's been saying. She
Right.
jumped on that train. And maybe it's political,
Right.
but at least it's following the right ideas.
And Obama
you
did
know?
that a lot, too. He flip-flop a lot.
Everyone
He changes
does.
mind, you know.
I
And it's just...
flip-flop. I'm not going to say I've had the same
Yeah, but there's a
views
difference
as-
Let
between
me be
growing
clear.
as a person and learning, you know what, maybe we should start doing this, and just going back and forth.
No,
because
you're
it
right.
suits you.
If you do
know?
it more than once, it's
It
one
fucking-
thing. If you change your mind, I'm okay with it.
So I'm on the fence about Warren, but that would be kind of cool.
Bernie and
I agree.
Michelle?
I just
Michelle
wish that
Obama?
Bernie were a little younger, because if he were, then he'd have a much better shot next time around. But I hope people at least learn their lesson.
Yeah. I mean, learn their
One of the biggest problems, I just want to say this, is that independents, if you were an independent, you could not vote in the primaries here in New York.
Yes.
That is the biggest problem. That is the reason why he lost New York State.
Yep.
It's the reason why he probably lost a lot of those
because
states.
I'm independent. I'm
Right.
I'm not.
Therefore, you could not vote
Yes.
because he ran as a Democrat.
Correct.
So the reason you want to say that, okay, Wasserman Schultz had Hillary's back because they were fucking friends, great, and I'm sure there was some collusion there. But I think that the biggest problem was that the Sanders campaign did not educate the states, because you had to tell the states like 6 months in advance
Right.
to register as a
not
Democrat if you were an independent. Otherwise, you couldn't even vote for him.
Also, I just looked it up. Bernie's 75, Trump's 70. So there's a 5-year gap.
Right.
75 is starting to push it. We're talking 2020, it'll be 78.
Right.
I get that. And I'm a huge Bernie supporter. I
Right.
get that when you get of that age you're talking about at the end of his first term, hypothetically he would be 82.
Right.
That's concerning. I don't disagree with that. But that's why he would need to have a very strong vice presidential candidate because he's so old.
Right.
So I would agree with that. That's well said.
Oh, yeah, and then if he's... I mean, that was like the fear of mine with McCain. Now, I liked John McCain.
I actually did too.
I'm not going to lie. It was in my mind, is the last time the Republicans actually put up anyone that had any type of integrity, anyone that even made me second-guess the Democratic pick. It was the last time they did anything with dignity was John McCain.
Well,
Then-
people said that he gave away too many military secrets.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
Okay, well...
as a POW.
Well, wow.
Because,
That's kind of
they
nitpicking.
would have done so well
There's
under
a
torturous
con
conditions.
for every...
I don't know. They were ripping off his fingernails. I mean,
Yeah.
I would have told him everything. I would have been like, here's the,
Yeah, but he was pretty tight-lipped compared to how us in the room would have been.
There you go. But
Right.
what killed it for me was, and when getting back to my point of age, was Sarah Palin.
Yes. Oh.
Once Sarah Palin became his running mate, I said, yeah, no thanks. That woman is dumb as a box of stones. She needs
God.
to do what she should be doing is getting naked in magazines for me to touch myself to. That's about all she's worth.
Nail and
fucking
Palin.
piece of
There's a
shit.
porno.
What?
There's a porno. Nail and Palin.
Nail and
it's
Palin.
a Sarah
Nice.
Palin parody.
I mean, I
Well,
would bang
okay.
the shit out of her. But
How about the actual
hate
pornographic material that you can find the first woman in now? First lady.
Oh, Melania? Yeah. Well, Melania's a whore. The
Yeah.
first lady's a whore. Everyone, I don't care.
Oh, she's gonna sue you.
The first lady is
Yeah.
a whore.
It was a lesbian porn, wasn't it? Something
I
like
don't know
that?
what
You
it
think she
was.
married Donald Trump for
His
What,
looks?
his looks is,
And his love.
his personality.
Please. You're,
Oh, well, speaking of personality, we got a big piece of shit in the room right here.
What's that?
Because I want to just take a left-hand turn, but maybe we should go for a break.
What's the left-hand turn? Go. What?
You.
What about me?
R, G, and E.
Well, yeah, we're gonna
We
discuss
gotta get
that.
Gyyyna
Yeah,
on
we're
here.
gonna
Yeah, I agree.
we're gonna talk to Gyyyna.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna take a break.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Melania Trump's a whore.
Okay,
Can
she
have
is.
that
We
now?
all know that.
All right, everyone, we'll be right back. Winters suck, especially here in upstate New York. They're cold, wet, dreary, and the salt from the roads gets everywhere. Luckily, for our concrete surfaces, we have Eagle Epoxy. They'll come in, they'll resurface your garage or your basement floor even. They cover it with an epoxy resin after it's been resurfaced for protection, a clean look, and it's really, really easy to clean, especially for you car guys. They can be reached at their website, eagleepoxy.us, or by phone at 585-402-4971 for a free quote. Tell them the RocnessMonster sent you.
Okay, thanks for waiting, folks. We are live again here in RocnessMonster's basement.
We're live?
Well,
Video.
you said that we were live earlier, and then we did a whole weather pattern report, and then
We did?
we realized that by the time people listen, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, none of it matters. I mean,
We
the
have been
whole
getting
thing-
rained on though quite a
Yeah.
bit.
Oh yeah. Well, we
But-
do the show outside naked.
To bring that around, speaking of poor weather,
Yes.
mid-March, early March, when was it? We had a windstorm. We talked about it on.
We had some wind.
We talked about it on the pod, as the kids say.
The pod.
And
Some.
you ripped into our local power company
Yes.
about their response times.
Yes.
You were out of power for I think 4 days.
3.
3 days. Oh my God, you poor thing.
Yeah.
And I didn't lose power.
I'm trying to watch TV. I'm trying to watch Netflix.
I think maybe 100,000 people in the area lost power.
Yeah.
Some for longer periods, some for shorter.
Yep.
And you cried about it a
I
lot.
was-
You cried about it on social media. You cried to me. I
Yep.
held you.
You did help. You
And-
held me. You held me so tight.
And then when we got on the pod, you really ripped into
Yeah.
the local power company
Yeah, I
because
said they were
you
failures.
felt they were You felt they were failures.
Yes.
And I defended them.
Yeah.
And I
Because
said, you know,
what a hero. God,
Yeah,
you're such
I
a
am.
fucking hero. God. Look at me.
you also got into because they're unionized. That's
Yeah.
why they didn't.
Well,
I think
unions-
you're a piece of shit.
Unions are slowly ruining this country.
That is the opposite of the truth.
Well, yeah. I
They're
mean,
the
I
only
don't-
thing saving the middle class.
I
But
don't
that's
get
okay.
a union, but I'm in the middle class.
Because you chose a shitty job.
I don't
And
have-
you decided to fuck a lot in college and not do your homework.
That may be true, but the fact of the matter is if things go bad at my job, I don't get to go cry to someone and say, "Oh, my job's too hard," and they say, "Let me call your boss and I'll fix this for you." For me, my job's too hard. Well, you're fired. That's what I get. I live in the real world. That's just me, though.
Unlike everyone else.
That argument, there's so many holes to that argument.
So many holes?
It's not even based in
Pick
logic.
a hole and fuck it. Don't look at me like that, because you're thinking of a hole right now.
Yeah, that's not a
Exactly.
nice one.
It's my butthole.
So let's get on the topic.
We brought someone in. We brought in a friend that works within the power company.
the structure,
The
man.
structure, dude. Her name is Gyyyna. She's already asked us to put a little rouge on, tuck our sacks back, to make her more comfortable.
Thank you.
With
We'll
us.
be putting an audio converter on her microphone. She'll sound like this.
I was working for the company for
If she
but-
turns up dead, that's our fault.
Yeah,
completely our
thank
fault.
you.
But this is
Very
the
good.
thing, though. She's not here to speak badly about this company. She works for the company, and from what we were saying off air, she's happy. So this isn't a smash this company thing. This is me. It's about me.
All right.
Saying things like well, I'm starting now.
Yeah, go ahead.
What the fuck happened? what happened? Let's start there.
Well, there was a windstorm that was unlike anything we've ever experienced, at least in the last really long stretch of time.
So
in
so we
Rochester.
have in Rochester, not just for the company, or
Yeah, well, for the company as a whole. Yeah,
Okay.
and it was basically something that you can't prepare for. You can only prepare for to a certain extent. So there was backup that was needed to bring in because we just don't have the resources to be able to take care of an outage that was as widespread as it was.
Okay, so there was no contingency plan for something of this magnitude because it's never happened before.
Correct.
Okay. So questions like I have, like the website. You go to the website the first day it happened, right? Mm-hmm. And the website said, you're probably back on by 5 p.m. Then I went back to the website and it said 7 p.m. Then I went back to the website, it said 7:15 p.m. Then I went back to the website and I think it just said like processing or like assessing. It just said assessing. And I said, well, assessing isn't a time. Assessing isn't like, what time is it? Well, it's assessing. Like, you know what I mean? It's half past assessing.
Yeah,
so,
but did it make you more mad when we were giving you exact times and pushing it back? If we would have just told you we were assessing the situation and don't know yet, would that have been okay from the start?
If it was from the start, yes. I would have been
It's kind of like when a homeless
mad.
guy asks you for money and you're like, just be honest with me. He's like, dude, I want to buy some drugs.
Yeah.
All right. Just be honest.
I just take him to my
fair.
dealer.
The website should have just said, we don't fucking know.
Exactly. But okay, so that was one of my biggest pet peeves.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess if it would, you make a good point. If it would have said assessing from the beginning, then yeah, I would have been less mad.
Okay.
But so what do you work in customer service? Do you what?
I work in like the regulations department, so I basically work with all the legality that goes in and out of the company. But at one point, I did work in the customer service department, so I
answering the phones.
So what was your
that
role?
was my way in.
That's what I do. Yeah. That's what I do for a living, but for
Not
something
any longer,
way shittier.
but yeah, that was the start of it. So I've been on both behind the scenes and on the front line in that aspect.
Okay. So when this occurred, like what was it? Was there any do you have a story of something that like you had to you were like, God damn it, like?
Well, as it comes in, we basically, the systems are telling you these people are out, and then these people, the number keeps growing, and we are equipped to handle a certain amount, and so we're calling in the crews for that, and as you send the crews out to see what's going on and assess the situations, you realize as the day went on and as the time went on that it's going to take way more than what we have the capability to handle. And basically the Public Service Commission mandates that, at least in New York State, utility companies have 72 hours to bring up from an outage. Like, your customer base has to be restored within 72 hours. Mm-hmm. So we have the capacity to handle that. Mm-hmm. And in instances where it's completely beyond proportion, we have to then reach out and bring other resources in.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so from the state level, because of that mandate, was there any type of repercussions?
Any storm or outage event that lasts more than 72 hours, we are automatically required to do an audit investigation, which we are actually in the middle of right now.
Wow. Okay. Well, things that my ignorant ass didn't know.
Right.
To be honest.
So the state is already looking into, it lasted more than 72 hours. Why? What happened? What went into it? Why weren't you prepared for this? So we're answering all those questions as a demand of our governing entity.
Let me just interject. If the ghost of the Ice Storm 91 were to fight the ghost of the Windstorm 17, who would win?
I don't have...
yeah. So my question, what was bigger in your opinion? Were you alive?
I was alive during the Ice Storm. Yes. Yet very young, but alive.
I was 5.
I don't know how many outages. I know that
I don't
there were people who were out of power for much longer, but I couldn't tell you how many outages
I think it was
there were.
I think tops was about 5 or 6 days for the windstorm. So I don't know if the Ice Storm...
So because the point that I was really trying to make with that question was
waiting for it.
If the ice storm was bigger or just as big, shouldn't they have learned their lesson then?
Well, it's also the time has changed. The infrastructure has changed since that time, and a lot of the things that go into severe outages like this is like the vegetation, the trees, the limbs, the construction around things that people have built since that are in the way of the lines and causing them to go down. So, I mean, as technology has created more lines and more things in the way since the ice storm.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken, there were resources brought in from even out of New York State.
Oh, from Canada. Yeah, Canada. We had to call in. We had to call in other countries to assist us because we didn't have enough crews to handle everything that was going down. And the first thing that happens in a storm response, everyone's like, well, why no one was up for that whole first day was because the main priority is to make conditions safe. So where there's wires down everywhere, the first priority is to make sure that transmissions aren't blowing up and that wires aren't just laying in the middle of the road and streetlights are brought up.
Yeah.
So that takes priority over turning your cable back on.
I mean, I guess. I got really Republican in this as to where my needs were more important than everyone else's, and that's your typical Republican. But
you were so mad about Rick and Morty. You want to watch Rick and Morty?
I was in the middle of Rick and Morty.
I love Rick and Morty.
And I was in the middle of it, and I was like, oh, well, the fucking TV doesn't work. Oh, well, the power doesn't work, and now I'm angry. But I explained off the air that I called. I called a few times, and I work in a call center, and it's a terrible job. So I have an expectation because when people call me, I give them above and beyond. So when I call in, I expect the same thing. If you don't give that to me, I will berate you, and then I will ask to speak to your manager.
Yes.
However, if you do go above and beyond, like I always do, I do ask to speak to your manager, but that's to to say, hey, whoever I just spoke to, I need to speak to them more often, or you need to train people to their level.
Right.
Because I'm a forgiving God. Now, with that being said, I called RG&E a few times, and the one time I called, I was super mad. I was like, it's been 2 days now. I don't have any goddamn power. The fuck are you people doing over there? It's getting cold. I can't watch TV. You know what? What are you gonna do for me? I'm not paying for this. I want my money back.
Right.
And the lady there was kind of a pause, and she goes, well, we're not delivering power to your house right now, so you're not actually being charged anything. And my response was that, that's a great point.
A lot of people don't realize that. Like, there was a lot of people that would call in when I worked in the call center, and their biggest argument or comparison was to, like, the cable company. Like, okay, well, if my Time Warner goes out, they'll send me a credit. Well, because you paid a prorated price for the entire month.
Right.
Whereas you're only paying for your usage when it comes to your power.
There's a meter. Exactly. It's in your basement, and it's not turning right now.
Well,
go look at it.
Remember, I was telling you about our buddy Cap, who said that he was in his garage with his camping equipment because he didn't have any power, and an RG&E truck pulled up, and he was like, oh, awesome, I'm going to go ask them for some information. This is great. And it turned out that they were a meter reader. And his response was, motherfucker, we have a crisis, and you're sending out meter readers? You have some balls. Like, you have some serious balls.
The meter readers couldn't do anything.
Well, yeah.
They're a different crew entirely, and bills still have to go out. So we need to read your meter so that we knew it wasn't running, so that we didn't estimate your bill and charge you for power you weren't using.
That's
the answer. I was trying to give you that answer 4 or 5 weeks ago, but I couldn't. I was like, no, you can't. They're doing a different job.
You look like a Muppet right now.
Well, speaking of jobs.
So she just nailed it.
Nailed it, yes.
Yeah.
But I guess, like, my question is, like, crisis. People are obviously pissed off. You go to the meter reader and say, hey, listen, today, just stay at headquarters today, just until all this shit blows over.
Well, then they would throw off the entire building. Like, it's on a set schedule. We can only send certain crews to different neighborhoods at different times.
Okay, so I'm being proven wrong, and that's why we're here today.
Over and over again.
That's why we're here.
The best part was the Twitter followers. Everyone started following RG&E so they can get updates on the status of when they were going to get stuff back. And the people, I was thinking, just like talking about jobs, the person who was in charge of their Twitter account, do you know this person?
I do.
You do? They must have been so frustrated with the things they want to say to these people.
But they couldn't.
People are tweeting at them. My buddy Chin was sending us stuff. People are just like, RG&E, why are you withholding my power? And this is they want to charge you for the resources they provide. They are
Right.
losing money. They are paying outsiders and contractors to come in and help fix this mess, and you're mad at them because you don't have
Yeah, because you think it's a
TV or whatever.
conspiracy, you fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Like,
There's a million RocnessMonsters on Twitter just blowing up the Twitter
Exactly.
feed. I can't imagine what they want to say. Like, fucking idiots. We're doing everything we can. We're losing money because of this. No
Right.
one's more upset than this company
Yeah.
that you don't have power.
Yeah,
Right.
and you know, I think to kind of end my thought, after speaking to you, and you know, emotions are low now. I have
You
power.
have your Rick and Morty
I have
back.
my Rick and Morty and all my power, and we're recording this podcast now. With that being said, I think now I'm shifting the blame. Not really the blame, but we talked about the police in this too, and you know, I don't want to just take the time
Fuck the police.
to crap on the community power company.
Yeah.
But like, so a lot of stoplights. We were talking about this. A lot of the stoplights were out. I'm in Henrietta, and there's the corner of East Henrietta and Jeff Road. That's like fucking
Jefferson.
4 lanes, 4 lanes. That's like 8, 16, 24. A lot
Counting.
more. So
Counting.
all the lights were out,
Right.
and I'm sitting there, and there were no police directing traffic. We had to kind of figure it out on our own. Now, if you have a 4-lane or a 2-lane street with an out stoplight, you're going to treat it like a 4-way stop. That's different. I'm not
Right.
talking about we need a cop at every single one of those. There was no cop there. I'm sitting there. I got my kid in the back seat. I don't give a shit if I die at this point. If I got hit and T-bone and I was out, so many people would be happy, including myself. But I had
Right.
my 3-year-old in the back seat. I really want to give her a fighting
Right.
chance. So, you know, I said, you know what? I bet the police aren't going to show up till there's an accident. Came back through that way, fucking accident. Cops are everywhere at that point.
Right.
So it's just, I guess you mix the what you perceive as failures because you don't know. You're not on the inside. You don't actually know what the hell is going on. But I don't feel that the police have any excuses. Not to say that the power company has excuses, more of reasons as to what's going on.
Right.
Whereas, you know, police department, fire, where the fuck were you? But let's move on. My final question to you about this, unless you have any other questions.
No, I just wanted to reiterate the point that you're not going to have a bunch of police everywhere at all times who are also patrolling the streets and conducting these traffic stops. Or
They don't have to be, just at the big ones.
Right. And my point was that if for some reason you don't have enough officers, why can't you outsource? I mean, I don't know the legalities. Why can't Livingston County come up and give us some help? Why can't
the
you send some
Dansville police,
volunteer?
what's going on there?
Just you
Nothing.
could
Yeah.
get volunteers.
Right.
You know what I mean?
A lot of the people that do those are volunteers.
Right.
Doo-doo.
Doo-doo.
Right, but that wasn't happening in one of our biggest intersections with 30 different lanes coming at one another. You know, okay, so just be reactive, don't be proactive. Anyways.
It's stupid. But I guess my last question
Yeah.
is, okay, so let's say, hopefully not, knock on particle board, this happens again. What do you suggest as a consumer?
Learn how to build a fire.
What should we do? What would be the best course of action for us?
The best thing a consumer can do is own a generator. If you can't live without power for over a course of 24 to 72 hours, own a generator and you won't have that problem.
Boom.
The
Okay.
biggest
Now, can
thing-
I bill the company for that? Can I bill
No.
you guys for the generator?
No, you live in the
For those
modern
3 days.
world.
No, you might be able to find a way to work it into a tax write-off somehow, but
Okay. Okay,
no.
I'll take that. Anyway.
The second biggest thing you can do as a consumer is keep an eye on your vegetation. Like if you're noticing now on a clear sunny day, well, not that today's a clear sunny day, but
Never
if you're
is here.
noticing now when we're not in the midst of a windstorm that you have tree limbs growing on your branches, and if something were to happen, you could tell that that's going to take something down. Be proactive about that. You can call the company and report that stuff, and we'll send someone out to trim it.
So
free.
someone like so if I were, because there's a limb that I want down, but there's no power line near it. Now, if I were to climb up there and move a power line to go near the tree that I want down, can I call you guys?
The
And you'll
company will come do that for you. If it's a power line and
Yeah.
you want to do something with that tree and the wires need to come down for you to do that, we will come down and do it so you don't electrocute yourself. If it is a cable line, you'd have to call the cable company, but same practice.
Well, I have a
Gotcha.
grievance. I have a grievance about that.
God.
My backyard borders my neighbor, like around the corner, his backyard. So his disgusting tree hangs over my property and over the power lines, and there's also cable and telephone wires in that same area, and I can't remember which one is on top, the power or the cable line. Do you know?
I don't.
Okay, so I called, let's say, I think I called our genie first. And I said, hey, there's shit hanging down over here. The tree is clearly dying. Can we get somebody to cut these down? And I believe their response was, well, look at the top wire. Is it thinner or thicker than the other one? And I said, I think it's thinner. She goes, well, then that's the cable
I was
company.
going to say, I think the thicker
you
one
have to
is
call
the power
them.
line.
I was like, okay. So I called Frontier, and they're like, yeah, we don't come out and cut tree limbs down unless there's already been an accident.
Oh.
I was like, okay, so.
Well, that's a shitty company.
Right.
I'm good to say that. Fuck
Yeah,
them.
that's
Yeah.
how I know that the way that we've split up the responsibility for maintaining the lines is
Right.
whatever one's on top, it's
But
their responsibility.
The
so.
first person I talked to at RG&E said that they couldn't come and do it because it wasn't the top cable on the wire. I was like, all right, but then like a year later, in the middle of winter, they drive their machine back into my backyard and cut the limbs down
So-
as a preventative measure.
Yeah, so we do preventative measure. There's a vegetation cycle that it's scheduled.
Okay.
It's built in. There's a
I see.
cycle that we just go out neighborhood to neighborhood and check
Gotcha.
for preventative
Okay.
measures. So, but sending that crew out to do that just on a random Tuesday costs more money.
Got you.
So that's why we've split up the responsibility.
Gotcha.
Are you happy, Dan?
I am. I got an answer.
And so did I. I feel like we definitely got some answers. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, I mean, I'll rescind a lot of the things that I said in the previous podcast, but that's how we learn. That's how we grow. That's how we're not like the current president, is we think about the things that we say.
Yep.
We do some investigation. We invite someone over, and we grill them on the topic. And then we safely say things like, okay, I'm okay with being wrong. Like, my dick is long enough for me to have humility and say,
Right.
I was wrong, and
Right.
I'm sorry, and I hope everyone forgives me, and especially RG&E, I hope you forgive me. I'm sorry, I was wrong, and I will continue to buy power through you and solely you, because you're the only company that offers power in the city of Rochester, and I will continue to give you my money, hard-earned, as long as you keep the lights on, and so far so good.
Yeah.
So thank you. I appreciate that.
All right, we want to round this up with a couple of fuck yous.
Yeah, we'll take a short break.
Yeah.
And then we're going to come back. We're
I
going to say
do-
fuck you to some things.
I think I have a copy here.
You have a copy?
Yeah,
Before
from-
we go to actual commercial?
Yeah, I'm just going to
Please.
read it without opening it up here. It just says,
Do it.
Frank's Fisters. No, I'm not reading this. Not reading this.
Frank's
This is
Fisters.
clearly fake.
All right. We'll be right back. Thanks.
Your beard looks awful. And why does it look awful? Because you're not using Genesee Beard Company's products. From beard oils to all types of different grooming possibilities. Check them out. Genesee Beard Oil. They're on Facebook, and their products are really awesome. So please, get that rat's nest on your face figured out, because I'm tired of looking at it. That's Genesee Beard Company.
Okay, podcast listeners, I've left the studio, but I've taken all the microphones with me. I'm running into my car right now. Okay, I'm in my car. I'm now leaving. I just quit. I'm starting my own podcast. I'm going to call it CriticalMass. And it's... But,
Dan, I got in the car.
Okay.
Where
Okay.
are you going?
I was just going to go to the bathroom.
In the car?
Well, your basement bathroom is disgusting.
I have two that's disgusting.
Yeah.
So when you're taking a dump, you don't like spiders.
You remember all
watching
those
you?
Bloody Marys you drank last week?
Yes, I do.
I remember because the bathroom remembers too.
Yeah, well, it's all red. It looks like someone had their first period in there.
No, we're just kidding, everybody.
Yeah,
We're all still here. Let's do our fuck yous and get
Fuck
out of
you.
here. Everybody wants to go home.
Jeez. All right, fine.
So my fuck you this week. I don't live in the greatest neighborhood, but it's not the worst neighborhood either. It's right in the middle, in my opinion. But I think that if you own property, like your backyard is like a corner lot, and you can see right into someone's backyard, that it should be clean. I don't want to see tires or leaves from last fall. If the windstorm crushed half of your fence, get it fixed. It looks like shit. People are coming through the neighborhood to buy houses. We live in an area where there's actually a lot of houses being bought and sold. And property value drops when someone comes in, sees your fucking disgusting house and your property, and then sees the house for sale across the street and says, honey, not here. This is a garbage neighborhood. Okay? Yeah. Then, a block away from this house that I'm mentioning, is like 6 or 7 kids that live in one fucking house with parents and grandparents, which is fine. You gotta do what you gotta do. But do not leave your garbage and recycling out all week. If the bill wasn't paid and you can't pay it, fine, we've all been there. Put it back inside the garage, you dumb fucks. Do not leave your fucking garbage out all week. You have 6 to 7 children living there. All of them combined can pull that garbage in the garage. Okay? We all had to do it as kids. They can do it too. If you're too much of a piece of shit, you can't even pick up after yourself, have your kids do it. But you're making the fucking neighborhood look like garbage. Yeah, I hate you. I hate all that you stand for. And if you have a backyard or side lawn, whatever it is, that faces out into the neighborhood, pick it up. I'm not saying my backyard right now isn't in a transitional phase. It is. It doesn't face everybody else. You have to walk onto my property and into the backyard to see it.
That's true.
Okay? So, that's my fuck you.
Thank you for that. That was great.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Because you're shaking right now.
It's because it's fucking 40 degrees down here.
I'm sorry that I moved next door to Dan. Now he hates me.
This is all about
Clean
beans.
up your tires. All right.
Leave my children out of this.
Beans.
With a
please,
Z.
please. What is your fuck you?
My fuck you. I wasn't prepared until just before this segment, but I decided my fuck you is going to be to that fucking asshole driver on my way over here. Mm-hmm. Not even 5 minutes away. I'm getting off at the Lyle Ave exit. His car in front of me, light turns green. We're turning left. He's not going. So I just give a little friendly, just a little quick honk honk.
It was the double beep?
We all make mistakes. A little double, yeah, I think it was actually a single, but it was one.
Okay.
And he's not moving still. So then I laid on the horn. I'm talking like 5-6 seconds. I just laid on it until he started going. Finally starts going, but he's inching. He's trying to get me stuck on the yellow light. Wow. So I just go through anyways, and he's just finally, and then he's going 20 miles an hour down a 40-mile-an-hour road, and he's literally covering both lanes. I'm looking at Gyyyna in the car with him. He's like, is this guy serious? I keep honking at him. I put on my blinker to try and pass him on the right, and this fucker swerves in the right lane. Then he swerves back and left, and he's driving in the middle, so he's literally covering both lanes. Insane.
Unacceptable.
This is when you want the cops around you. They're not there. The one time I'm not smoking weed in the car, and the cops aren't there. And this guy just keeps going all the way until we turn off. All the way till we turn off. So I know this guy's not listening, but fuck you to you and everyone out there like you. Can't just admit when you're wrong, and can't just take the horn as a sign that you're doing something wrong on the road, apologizing for it and moving on, and you just have to make someone else angry and just transition all that hatred, whatever's ruining your day. Yeah. You're going to make someone else's day ruined. Fuck you.
What were they driving?
White Ford POS.
Was it a truck?
No, it was a car. It was a little sedan.
Well, you know my feelings on people that drive trucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't.
That they have small penises.
Fuck you, truck drivers.
Yeah, I just don't like truck people. But let's move on because I've beaten that to death. Gyyyna, you're fuck you for the day.
My fuck you is not to a specific person or entity. Well, unless you count Mother Nature.
I
I
do
know
that,
we
bitch.
live in Rochester and we need rain, but it's endless, and I'm just ready for some sunshine.
Enough
so
already.
I've just had it. So, fuck you if you could just bring out the sun for just a little bit every day, just a little bit every day.
Just give us an hour a
all
day,
I
God
need.
damn it. Just
a
an
little
hour.
vitamin D.
Just that's it. But-
I can't even walk my dog. It's raining so bad.
What?
He won't go out in the rain. He's scared of it.
Have your neighbors take him out.
Yeah. Put him on the runner and throw him outside. Tell him to grow a pair. Have you taken his pair already?
Yes. I mean, I didn't.
Oh.
The doctor did.
Oh.
Fuck you,
Gene-
doctor.
Gyyyna's right. Fuck the rain. There's people up in the coast, the North Coast here.
The North Coast.
Yeah, that are having their homes. Seriously, you buy a home on the lake.
Yeah.
What the fuck did you think was going to happen eventually?
yeah.
Okay? It's a giant body of water.
Yeah.
What the hell is your home insurance? You know what I'm saying? For crying out loud.
That's very true. That's very true.
Rockness, did you have a fuck you?
I do. My fuck you comes to customer service representatives. Because we were talking about it earlier. And
Yourself.
I thought about it. No, ones either over the phone or in person that should not be in customer service or be taught how to properly administer customer service. Now, I would go... Oh, he fell asleep again. Daniel.
Dan, wake up!
Dan. There he is. Hey. Hi.
I was awake the whole time.
I'm sure you were. So, you know, I sat through your terrible fuck you. You're going to sit through mine. Okay?
My lips are sealed.
There you go. So I've been in customer service for a while. It's something
Nobody cares.
I'm good at. I enjoy because I enjoy helping people that want to be helped. However, I had an experience at a Toys R Us. On Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you. Belated.
Also with you.
Thank you. I'm a huge Star Wars fan, so what I decided to do was I decided to take my daughter. We were going to each pick out a Star Wars toy. Okay.
Sure.
So we went and we picked out a Star Wars toy each, and it was a lot of fun. We had a blast. And we wanted to get home to drink our blue milk and watch The Force Awakens. It was very exciting stuff. So we're in line, and the woman who's at the register is like on the phone talking to someone. Mind you that there's a line. And I'm just like, okay.
You're suppressing the anger at this point.
At this point, because I also have my 3-year-old. She's on the phone, and she just keeps doing the finger thing. You know.
Yeah.
So it's more important than you finger.
Yeah.
Exactly. So then she gets off the phone. She checks out the guy in front of me.
He was hot.
Takes forever.
Checked him out too.
I mean, takes forever. So she cashes him out, and he finally walks away, and I go up there, and the goddamn phone rings again. And she answers the phone, and she does the finger thing again. And I'm like, I couldn't help myself. So I start looking at my daughter, and I go, well, apparently she doesn't want us to get home today. And she just looks at me, the woman, and you could tell she's just already not happy with my comment, and I'm just like, yep, so she's just gonna keep talking on the phone, honey. And my daughter, in her cute little cherub way, looks right at her and goes, did you know it's Star Wars Day? And the woman just blatantly ignored my daughter, who's 3.
Come on.
Now, it goes to this point, okay? Bitch, you make a paycheck, and you make a paycheck through Toys R Us doing well. I have almost $40 in Star Wars toys in my hands. $40 that I chose to spend in this store. So you're going to give me what I need. And that's good customer service.
Capitalism.
Exactly. Now, the final thing, she gets off the phone. She doesn't start cashing out my products that I've placed there. She had some kind of toy that was like behind her on the other side of the cash out desk. And she looks at me and points at that and goes, is that yours?
It was clearly like a return or like something that some other customer wasn't buying.
That's mine. I threw it behind you.
I didn't know what... I just said no, but in my head I was saying, how the fuck is that even possible? How is it possible? You saw me walk up to the line.
Right.
You saw me put my stuff on the counter in front of you.
Yeah.
And you're asking me.
It's a conveyor belt, right?
Right. Yeah. You're asking me if that's mine. How fucking possible is
Straight
it?
conveyor belt, not one that wraps around.
No, I'm apparently fucking Nightcrawler from the X-Men. I can teleport to the other side, put it down, teleport back real quick. Stupid bitch. She cashes out my stuff, and she goes, "Have a nice night." And I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Would have been.
And we left. Honestly, it's simple. If you're not good with people, don't be in customer service. It's that simple. So fuck you to people that are bad at customer service. And that's really all I have to say about that.
Great.
And that's the end of that.
All right. I want to thank everybody. Thank our sponsors. Thank Beans and Gyyyna for being here.
Yes.
Thank you for having us.
Yes.
Just a quick overlay. I think that we covered a lot of topics today.
Yep, a lot.
Social Democrats.
Yes.
Okay.
Socialized Democrats.
Social democracy, universal health care. Let's try it. If it fails, it's not that big a deal. With power outages, make sure that your tree limbs are not over power lines in your home domicile area.
My public apology to
Your public apology. Let's be nice to the folks on the phone. They're doing their best.
They're trying.
Their safety is number one. Our Genie workers and other company workers.
Yeah.
And our series of fuck yous, especially the customer service thing, man. I hate retail. I just hate all retail.
It's so annoying.
Next week, we are going to be having a live orgy.
A live orgy.
Yeah.
We're invited back for next week, right?
You know what? Our invitations are going out in the mail.
Yeah.
So
the mail's going to be sticking together.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
I'll accept that.
Yeah.
We've got a couple of, I believe we're going to get some barnyard animals.
Yeah.
And by that, I mean Republicans.
Wow.
Oh, man.
Okay, thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you for listening. And please, everyone, don't kill each other.